There's a cat behind me there. That's the little baby.
St. Louis people, it is locally popular comedian and avant-garde foot artist Brandon Judd, right here, coming to you live from my basement
It's so cold.
in a recorded fashion. Recorded live,
Oh, wow.
right? I don't know. Also used to be a stripper. There's that. And then also outsider musician, meaning I have several instruments. I do not know how to play any of them. Here's what I wanted to talk to you about. A few things. So, I am promoting a show. That's correct. I'm promoting a comedy show. But also, I want to try and be informative too. And so I might ramble. I think there's going to be a few of these videos like this. But the first thing I want to tell you about is just basic information about the shows that I co-host and produce at the Heavy Anchor. And I think a lot of you that I know or follow or have interacted with in my time in St. Louis, you're musicians, you're in bands. I love music. I go to shows a lot. I don't see a lot of local musicians going to local comedy shows, but I'm hoping to change that. And I think I understand the psychology of why not. This is directed at everyone in St. Louis. First and foremost, yes, I'm promoting a show. Ella and I, we host and produce the open mic every Monday at the Heavy Anchor. And then the last Monday of the month is our showcase. That's the Shipwreck Showcase, right? Heavy Anchor, Shipwreck, nautical theme. We're on it. This poster theme, it's a poster puking, and it's puking up things that you can find around the Heavy Anchor. There is a little cameo from Bobby's Nuts, Bobby Stevens Nuts. Bobby Stevens, good guy. He's making his own nuts there, but you can get him at the Heavy Anchor. There's a plug, Bobby. Anyway, the showcase is a curated lineup of some of our favorite comedians from St. Louis, and we're starting to get some people from out of town too. And also, I keep promoting it as comedy and oddities because the oddities just kind of says there's another thing here. And honestly, we're not sure what that other thing looks like from here on out. I think this time it's going to be some special video segments. I've got wild stage props that we're going to have set up. It's going to look like a different place. Like it's out of this world comedy with aliens, right? That's the last Monday of every month. And honestly, Mondays, and this is something I'm going to try to drive home, Monday nights don't have to be boring, right? Depending on what you work in, it's either the first day of the week, or if you're like service industry or whatever, it's almost like the last day of the week, or maybe even it's your day off, right? And so it's like, oh, you're resting, or the week just started and, Monday was overwhelming, so I'm not doing anything. I mean, it's in the name, right? No fun Mondays, right? Why did we decide that? There's entertainment to be had on a Monday, but there's often not a lot because people assume it's Monday. People aren't coming out. But I'm telling you, there's a reason to come out. There are several reasons to come out. One of them, at the Heavy Anchor, cheap drinks, dollar hams. Who hasn't had a hams and didn't enjoy it? Maybe you've had it later in the night. I don't know. It's $1, but there's other great drinks there. And there's ice cream sandwiches from Sugar Witch there now, which adds to their pizza options. Dogtown Pizza and Vegan Deli and Butcher. All great. Now, here's the thing, I hang out there almost every Monday. I've eaten almost all of the food items on the menu. Also, I don't drink. Hey, I haven't had a drink of alcohol in 8 years. They also have great non alcoholic options. They also have great mixed drinks. That's why I like the heavy. So, this is going to be gushing about why I love the Heavy Anchor partly, and also just about the shows that I love the Heavy Anchor because it is, yes, we're going to call it a dive bar, but it is the cleanest, most well maintained dive bar you've been in. St. Louis should be proud of it. And they've been around over a decade. The shows that we took over, they've been around over a decade too. That's right. The Heavy Anchor has been home to the longest running comedy shows in St. Louis, right? In St. Louis city limits proper. Okay, I get it. There's been a comedy club over way outside of town for a long time, but this is in city limits. Now, Bevo and Dutchtown area, if you're not aware. I have been involved in St. Louis comedy. I moved here in 2013. I was actually living in Central Illinois in like 2012-ish. I was starting stand up. I was driving down here, down south, for open mics and getting to know people. I got to know Kenny Kines, Andrew Frank, a bunch of people who were awesome at the time. Some people have moved on. Kenny Kines, come out of retirement. I love you, man. Why don't you come out? You're so funny. Spent 8 years really heavy into it, working at clubs around town, get to do shows at like the Ready Room, Foo Bar, those sort of medium level venues, I'll call them, but great venues I love to be at. And hey, I've done a bunch of shows with bands too. I almost prefer them. Uh, I can show you the paperwork. I did open for DRI once. Okay. I've got cred. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with it. And then, yeah, I took a little break and that turned into maybe like 3 years or so off because, pandemic happened, that sort of thing. But I completely built a different life outside of comedy. Have a wife, have a house, all that stuff. Growing up, yeah, nobody likes you when you're 37. Been back performing for I think just over 2 years now. So that means, yeah, I've got really, I mean, officially over a decade in comedy. Ella Fritz, who I produced those shows with, also over a decade. That's combined 20 plus years of experience. We know what we're talking about. We've been involved. We've been players in the comedy scene here for a long time. The shows I produced with Ella, Shipwreck Showcase, curated lineup, last Monday of every month. Okay. These are people who we like. Often it's from the open mic, or we've seen them. We've been on other shows with them around St. Louis, and we're like, hey, do you want to do our show? You get a longer set. It's longer than the way the open mic works. And Ella and I are really applying our personalities more to these shows. There's going to be a lot, it's going to be weirder because as a comedian and a creative person, there's a whole bunch of other things that I want to do. One of them, music. Like I said, I don't know how to play anything. But in that recent promo video for this show, that's music I'm playing. I'm playing that with a child's air organ, which from internet research, I believe was purchased in Disneyland in the 60s. I think. I don't know. I got it free off of Facebook. Yep. Just cool. But that's what we want is to have like a party with people and Mondays don't have to be boring. I'm going to keep driving that home. Mondays don't have to be boring. Now, the showcase at the end of the month costs money. Yes, art, not always free. You pay for local bands, you pay for local art, you support local businesses. Heavy Anchor is a local business. You're supporting them, you're supporting art, you're supporting a place where people can present their art. Because I know if you're in a band in St. Louis, you've probably played at the Heavy Anchor. Now, the other part of it. So, majority of the shows that we're doing throughout the month on Monday, generally there's 4 Mondays in a month. Sometimes there's five, which means 75 to 80% of the time it is the open mic at the Heavy Anchor. That is the Comedy Shipwreck open mic. I think it's aptly named. And I'm going to have another video about how open mics work because I think they get a bad rap from TV and movies where they kind of present it as everyone is bad and one person becomes a star the next day. And that is just not how open mics work. Okay. And musicians, maybe you can chime in. And I'm going to talk about, I keep talking about St. Louis musicians too, because I know a lot of you. I think people are more willing to take a chance on a music open mic than a comedy open mic, because I think it's much more difficult to get comedy right than music. You can hate me for saying that, but I think it's difficult to get a very specific reaction out of someone, right? Because people can dance to a beat. This is a different topic I'll get into another time. Comedy Shipwreck open mic, okay? Starts at 8 p.m. All right? That is not late, even for a Monday night. School night, not late, not late. We are not starting at 10. Other mics, other comedy mics, other shows might start even later than that. Um, Not happening on a Monday, so it's not late. Again, cheap drinks, very cool. Free. It is free. Comedians get 4 minutes, right? They get a light at 3. That's meant to tell them to wrap up. And I'm going to talk about this in another video about how open mics work and hope to dispel some myths about them. We usually have about 20 people sign up, and that usually turns into about 2 hours of a show, right? Because if Ella or I are hosting, we go on first, and we get the crowd warmed up, start the party, make it fun. And then we started into our lineup of comics. At the open mic, you can see most of the people pretty well experienced now. Usually, if you're in comedy, even maybe I'd say 2 years is a good time to be like sort of good at it, right? Or finding out that you're not, depends. But it's an open mic, it's a wide range of things. I think when you go to a music open mic, not everyone is the Beatles, right? So you can take a chance at a comedy open mic too. That's what I'm saying. But that's just what I want to drive home is just what I do and what my experience is and what I'm hoping to do. Here's the action item. Here's the action item for this video. I would love for you to come to the Heavy Anchor on a Monday. Um, if it's the open mic night, again, that's every Monday except for the last one of the month. Check out the open mic. See some of the local comedy talent that we have in St. Louis. Some of them are very fresh, and some of them are amazing. Right? That's what's fun about an open mic is you get to see some really amazing gems stand out, and you see people trying to work on it and figure it out. They're not all great at it. That's fine because you have the experience and the memory, and we all get to experience it together of this new art being put out and watching someone figure out their art. You know, it's people putting themselves out there on the line, and that takes a bit of bravery. It takes a little bravery, it takes a little bit of confidence. And then if you come out at the end of the month, the last Monday of the month, you can see the showcase. And that's where we're on sort of full display. We're showing people that we think are the best in St. Louis. We're showing people that we think are worth seeing, right? And it's worth it for us to put them on a stage and give them a longer platform. And also mixed in with that are flourishes from Ella and I, right? Because we have our own personalities and we want to bring them to the show and put them on full display and also use our personalities in the framing of that to highlight these other people, right? We have a great opportunity at the Heavy Anchor. They support local art so much, and we have a great opportunity to take advantage of that and showcase some of the best of St. Louis and what St. Louis can offer. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Yes, I'm trying to sell tickets to a show. I get it, but I mean it. There's heart behind this. There's real feelings. I get bummed if we don't have people at the show. Now, hey, we only did the showcase 4 times last year. And we averaged usually it was like 20 to 30 people. Like I think that's a good show. I think we have enough seats for 50 though, and I would love to have 50 people there. I would love to build it out. I've seen comedy shows at the Heavy Anchor where it was filled out. There was a great show which has been on hiatus for a while. I don't know if it's ever coming back. Futures Female, amazing platform they were on. I don't want to steal an idea, and I also don't want to steal like another idea from the past. There was also a great show that used to be at Foam called No Straight White Guys that I really enjoyed, and it was yeah, line of a comedians, no straight white guys. We're tired of them. And hey, I'm a mostly straight white guy. I get it. I support it. I'm on board. So anyway, maybe if you like me and like what I'm putting out there, you can come see me almost every Monday at the Heavy Anchor. But I want you to come to this show at the end of the month, February 23rd, the last Monday of every month. So we're gonna do it in March and April. And we've got some fun stuff lined up coming up for the next couple months. I'm trying to create memorable moments for people so they will remember not just the show and the Heavy Anchor, but also those other people that we're showing off, which I consider to be people I admire. People, honestly, I see comedians come through where I'm like, wow, they're really good. I wish I could write like them because, look, I get told I'm a great comic. I get told I'm a great comedian, and that's nice. I like that. Who doesn't like being told that they are good at their art? Right? I think every person endeavoring to create art has some, and maybe they get a certain level of either fame, income. Although I know as a local band, hey, $20 drink tickets on a weekend, pretty sick. But you might have some imposter syndrome still. I think everyone has a little bit of that. I do too. I'm like, well, there was this one show 8 years ago that like I bombed. And so like I remember that. Nobody else does. Nobody cares. Right. But come out to the Heavy Anchor on a Monday. Let's hang out. That's all I want to drive home. Let's hang out. Let's enjoy art together. And also at the open mic, you can sign up. Anyone can sign up. You can come try it. Sign up is at 7. It's an hour before the show, so it's a little earlier. But come, have a drink. We can chat. I can talk to you about comedy. You can tell me about stuff you're interested in, and we can just share. And I think community is important these days. And I think we've lost a bit of it with the internet and social media because it's like I can put stuff on TikTok like I'm doing right now. But often people who see it, we're not really connecting. They're liking something or whatever, but I want to hang out. Like, come, I'm saying almost every Monday you can find me at the Heavy Anchor. If I'm not there, Ella's there. Come, hang out with us, have cheap drinks, enjoy some quality entertainment, and just come hang. Mondays don't have to be boring.